Hello, beautiful people. I hope y'all can hear me okay. Um, it's saying that I'm having some issues with internet, so we'll see what that is exactly. But hello and welcome. Let me put my phone on. Do not disturb because that always gets me. But hello, it's your boy Ami. My name is Ami. My pronouns are he, him. And on this channel, I talk about my journey as a Black, queer, trans, neurodivergent person navigating the world and the ups and downs, everything comes between. I'm also a world traveler, a community cultivator, public speaker, along with being a content creator. So all those things come together to create spaces that I am able to share my authenticity and my journey. And I know others find whether it's resonance or alignment in that sharing, and also find their own paths of liberation, joy, whether it's traveling, moving abroad, whatever the case may be. So if you want to go on that journey with me, make sure you go down below, hit that subscribe button. I don't know how well my connection is right now because it's telling me that it's unstable. So I guess we'll see. I have a whole like not water bottle. I have a whole script or list of things that I was going to talk about, and um, then things kind of went sideways today. I don't know if anyone else listening, and if you're watching the replay, this question's for you too. If you identify as neurodivergent, I not identify, but if you are neurodivergent, I am both autistic and have ADHD, so AuDHD. And it's been a day. It's been a day to say the least. So that's on my heart of just navigating um, a situation today of just like sensory overload and all the many layers and things that came with that. So I think I'm going to start with that today of like kind of my life update of kind of like what's going on, because I feel like that feels very pertinent, very what's the word? Very like timely. I don't know how else to explain it. I also have these on. Y'all can't hear me from these. Y'all hear me from my computer, but I live in a city, and since I am feeling a bit overstimulated today and just struggling a bit, this is helping me stay grounded and stay focused on what I'm doing, as well as just giving me some comfort. So that's why I have these on, because they're noise canceling and it kind of buffers and lowers all the noises. Yeah, so I'm currently living in Mexico City, Mexico, and I live in a house which feels really good. I love the energy in this home. I feel very safe here. I feel it feels like home, which feels good. And also, if you're here, feel free to tap in where you're tapping in from. Um, I also realized I have like two things. I think I premiered a video right now, so probably did too many things. But yeah, I'm in Mexico City. Living in a house, and I feel very at home here, very good here. And I am learning this part of my life. I feel like I'm learning so much about myself. So much about myself. It almost feels overwhelming because I feel like I'm relearning myself. I was talking to a person, one of the people I'm dating. Well, actually, I talked to both of them about this, about how I feel like I'm in this place where I'm learning all these things, and for a second I almost started to spiral because I'm like, what is happening in my life? I don't know myself. But it's like, no, you're learning things that you probably weren't going to be able to learn by yourself, because I had a very long healing journey. And welcome in welcome in everyone. Feel free to tap um, in the chat. But yeah, like, just because I'm learning things about myself doesn't mean I didn't know myself before. I'm realizing that it's just a simple fact that some healing is interpersonal. Some healing you're not going to be able to tap into just by yourself. And with solo traveling, also along a healing journey, like all these different things, doing a bunch of shadow work and all these different things, I had to learn a lot about myself. But there's certain things I wasn't going to learn. So anyway, living in a house in Mexico City, I enjoy it here. And also, this is one of my things about not wanting to live in Mexico City, is that there's just a lot happening. There's just a lot going on. And for me, as a person that has ADHD and autism, that can be that is that can be very overwhelming. Um, I say this all to say, like, I feel like I'm coming into the understanding of like what being autistic means for me, what that looks like, how that feels, how it shows up, all those different things. And yeah, and I think, sorry, I'm right now going back and forth in my head because I'm like, the live was supposed to be about travel and this and that, but like this feels very much more pertinent. So if you're watching the replay and you're feeling resonance from this conversation, let me know in the comments, so I know that there's a reason why I feel like I'm being pushed spiritually, intellectually, emotionally to have this conversation. But first things first, I feel like sensory needs. I feel like I'm learning and to accommodate myself and learning what that means. So it feels really, really good to accommodate myself. Whether it's like, I'm going to do this live with these headphones on because that's what I need right now. And while someone may watch this and think I look funny or weird, or some people may ask, like, why are you doing that? Whatever case may be, I will still do it because I know that's what's gonna give me the most access to myself and allow me to show up in the ways that I want to. Like when I accommodate myself and validate my sensory needs, it feels like I'm giving myself a new level of self-love. Like it feels like I'm giving myself a different type of self-love. Like it feels like I am caring for myself. I'm loving myself, and that feels really good. Um, and I'll get to the other side of that later. But like sensory needs, like light, like I cannot be in a room with white light, at least for not too long. Like if my room had white light, I was about to go out and get some bulbs. Cannot do it. Sound, using things like noise canceling headphones. Um, I don't want to give. I have like these little um, like earplugs that are like reusable and good. I'm not gonna say the brand because they're probably trash for some reason, but like getting things like these, so like when I'm on an airplane or in the airport, or sometimes I'm just out and like things become a lot and I don't want to carry these. Or sometimes just leaving different situations. Sensory needs like food, like acknowledging and validating my safe foods, and sometimes my repetitive eating, and also just my needs around textures of foods, like just validating that stuff and creating space for it makes me feel so much better and so much more human and so much more aligned. Also, things like with my clothes and fabrics, and in the morning or in the afternoon, whenever I'm leaving, like feeling like it's impossible to pick out clothes, like all those different things. So, all those things and validating those things makes me feel very loved by myself. And at the same time, I'm realizing that the more I accommodate myself, the more that I learn what I need, and the more I learn about what makes me feel safe, what makes me feel seen, what makes me feel whatever. It let me drink some water. Like even things like this, like pausing to drink water. I feel like I would do that less and less, and I would be so in my head about doing it in the past. Um, so all those things feel great, but then it also feels heart wrenching to not find safety and fun in places that I used to. I'll give you an example. I went out with some friends. They told me that we were gonna go to this like bar place. It was outdoors. It's like a little like there's like little tables. They're all separated, and like people go there. You can like dance at your own little table. There's drinks and da 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 da. Like that sounds great. I was like, I got my little mask because I'm still being COVID conscious, especially right now with the surge in cases. I'm trying to be safe as much as I can. So I went there with my mask. I was ready. Found out it's a lot more busier than I had planned or that I had understood them to describe it as. And uh, that really, I struggled a lot with that because I felt like there was so many people. Like there'll be moments, okay, like we get it, like I start to calm down and like we start to dance and like have a good time. Then someone like bumps into you, and then there's this person that was being weird that like touched me. I'm like, don't touch me, like, and all these different things. The noise, even though I love loud music, I love loud music, but just like the sensory overload of like the environment, like how close together people were, people asking me, like someone was like, oh, like why are you wearing a mask, are you sick? And I'm like, no, I'm not sick. They're like, why are you wearing a mask? I'm like, because I don't want to get sick. And they're like, well, no, but like why are you wearing a mask? And I'm like, I'm not having this conversation with you. So like all these different things. I'm realizing that like when I was in college, going out, going to the club, going to the bar used to be an experience um, that I would enjoy. Like I would like going out with my friends and having fun and doing all these things. But now like I don't find safety or fun in those places as much. Or it's like it's very particular. It's like certain spaces. So I'm seeing that like my tolerance of things is declining. And it also I think complicates how I can connect with folks because um I feel like I'm just complaining. But let me just pause. I'm sharing this because as I had an overstimulating experience not too long ago, like an hour or two ago, the first thing I did is I went on TikTok and I looked up Black autistic TikTok, autism TikTok. And as I was feeling overwhelmed and overstimulated, I just watched TikToks and felt affirmed and aligned and heard and seen in what I was seeing. And so I guess with me right now, with this video, my intention is that maybe someone will find it and maybe someone will find some level of connection to what I'm saying. And at the very least, if one person knows that they're not alone in what they're navigating or how they're feeling, then I think it's worth it. I'm really starting to like curb my understanding of who I am as a content creator. I have no interest in being for everyone or making my content palatable. If it was the point where like I had one follower, if I had one subscriber that was just like, I resonate with this, I'm resonating with your story, I'm resonating with your content, whatever the case may be, I feel like it's worth it. Um, and realizing that I think there was this video I was watching the other day. Anyway, I don't want to go down a tangent. But just to give some context of why I'm kind of sharing this story and kind of where I'm at. Yeah, so understanding my sensory needs, kind of my field, I kind of describe as like my field of safety kind of shrinking. Um, all of these things, I feel like it complicates how I can connect with folks because, for example, I didn't explain the situation today. Today, basically, at the place I live, there was a big dog in the back. I have big dog trauma. I don't like big dogs at all. They scare me. They upset me. Like it's a whole thing. Um, and I think it was just a sensory thing too because it's like I didn't expect to see that. Like I'm just sitting in my living room, watching my show, eating my comfort breakfast sandwich, and it just throws off my whole mood. And I started thinking about like, one of the things that came to mind is like, oh well, not the first thing that came to mind, but what came to mind later was like, oh, why don't you tell them? But then I started thinking about like, how can I explain a sensory need to someone if they don't even have them or like they're not aware of them or they don't even know what those are? Like I can explain to someone they understand, oh, I'm afraid of dogs, like big dogs, and they're like, oh well the dog wasn't near you, like how do I explain to you like, oh, any change in my environment kind of throws me off and that like I don't know, all these little things. So it's like trying to explain that certain things probably will bother me more than other people are used to. It makes me feel sometimes it brings up feelings of shame and sometimes brings up feelings of like I feel like I'm being sensitive or whatever. And I mean, the reality is, it's just I live in a world that's never going to be able to accommodate me. But like, also, like, I live in a world that tells people that it's not okay to accommodate themselves because I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of people I know or that I've connected to that are neurodivergent in some capacity and struggle with some things. And I know that for a plethora of reasons, they don't accommodate themselves because of whatever the case may be, whether it's coming to the understanding that, like, whether they don't understand it, they don't see it, they don't feel like it's safe to do so. Um, and I want to say that feeling is valid, that it's not safe to accommodate or like safe to like unmask because I'm having this moment right now. So it's like, and I want to shout out, I won't say their name because I don't know, I haven't asked them specifically how they feel about me sharing their name on the internet, but um, a special person in my life, we were talking about it. They are also neurodivergent, and they're like, when I think about all these things, like how much do I have to keep shrinking my life for safety? They didn't say the safety part, but how much do I have to keep shrinking my life? Like the field of like what feels safe, the field of what feels comfortable keeps getting smaller. And I mean that in so many ways, not even just as being autistic and having ADHD, but also as a Black person. I don't feel safe in white and like majority white or white spaces in general. What does that mean for me as a queer person? What does that mean for me as a trans person? What does that mean for me as just a person that has different marginalized identities? Like it shapes the ways in which I am able to find safety and find comfort. And it feels like I have to like kind of lessen the types of places I go to or the people I'm around in order to maintain that level of safety. And it feels like I'm continuously shrinking my world, and that doesn't feel necessarily good. That feels sad. Which brings me to just saying, I feel like unmasking forces me to take up space. Unmasking forces me to take up space, which triggers other parts of me that want to shrink. And I found safety in shrinking and belittling and making my problems smaller or telling myself it's not that big of a deal, whatever the case may be. So as I'm in this process of wanting to unmask, like fidgeting with this thing on camera and wearing these headphones and talking about this topic, even though it's completely different from the topic that I put on here and all these different things, it requires that I take up more space. In order for me to communicate my boundaries and my needs, I have to be willing to take up space and understand that, like, maybe the things I'm requesting aren't things that people would usually request of people. Like, hey, like, for example, like, I, um, there would be like, I don't want to say who, but someone was going to be throwing a party at the back of the house here, and they're like, yeah, we're going to try to keep everyone outside, da, 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 da. And I'm just thinking about, like, tomorrow, like, if a bunch of people come and, like, if there's like people like using my bathroom and like that, I have my own things with that, but like all of these things, whether it's like people slightly messing up or making things dirty, like this is going to mess up my routine and like my sense of safety, and like then I'm gonna have to wake up Sunday morning and clean my bathroom and before I use it, because like it's, I don't know these people. So it's all these different things. So I think there's shame that comes up around that field of safety shrinking, because it feels like I'm taking up too much space, and it feels like I am asking for too much, and it feels like I'm asking things of folks that I know that they won't or can't give me, or they don't have the capacity to give me. And that feels sad, because then it feels like it lessens the type, because it's like I'm not in the space anymore to self-abandon myself and pretend that these things are fine or pretend that everything's okay when they're not, because I spent way too much time learning about myself to self-abandon in that way. So I think it brings up a question that I have is like, how do you build safety in relationships when they don't have the capacity to understand or to see the validity in what you need? And this, I think, aligns in so many things. I've struggled this with being trans, of like, I don't want to just be friends with people that, not that only people are trans, but people that understand the realities of being trans, but like people understand pronouns and stuff like that. Because how do I, for me, safety is a non negotiable in relationships. For me to feel safe is non negotiable in a relationship. So, how do I navigate trying to build safety in a relationship with someone if they don't have the capacity to understand or to see or to hear me and like my complexities and all these different things? Because I'm learning that, I need to take up space, and that's fine, even though it's not fun. So, yeah, I really wanted to end this at 23:33, but I didn't, so it's fine. But those are my thoughts, and that's how I'm feeling. Um, if you're watching the replay, because I know no one's in here with me right now, at least that's what it tells me on the screen. Um, and you're also neurodivergent in some way or capacity, I'd love to hear how this resonates or how this lands for you. And yeah, I'm also going to change the title of this because I don't want it to be misleading. I'll probably schedule this type of live for another time in some way. But yeah, for all of those, or everyone watching the replay, thank you for watching. And for all the people that popped in, thank you for watching and popping in too. There's so many things, so many layers, but I hope you all have a great night, and I'll see y'all soon.